For 6 months, it wasn't 50-50?
No. When she left the house, right, she left and went with another man, right? I didn't know where he was. I didn't know she lived in Mesquite at that time. It was right after we went in front of Judge Lee that she decided to tell us where she lived, because that.
At this time, counsel, would you like to make an opening statement? Attorney Lane.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What you won't see from the content of the file that's important is the parties were married, they divorced, and then they remarried. So this is actually the second divorce for the parties. There was a prenuptial agreement dealing with property that was also memorialized in the partial mediated settlement agreement. So all property issues are resolved. We are asking the court today to grant a divorce on the grounds of insupportability and to award the property as issued in the partial mediated settlement agreement. The only remaining issues is the child custody evaluation, child custody, possession, access, and support. Since the time of their decree, the parties have been operating on a 50-50 basis. We did conduct a child custody evaluation, which has been admitted into evidence. And we are simply asking the court to honor the recommendations of the evaluation and appoint mom as both parties as joint managing conservator, but mom is the party with the right to designate the primary residency and to grant dad the expanded standard schedule and to set child support for dad to help out. With that, I'm closed my opening statement. Sorry.
Thank you, counsel. Attorney Taylor.
Yes, Judge. So, as Mr. Lane mentioned, the parties were divorced previously, and there's a divorce decree from 2017. In that decree, the parties they agreed to a 50-50 week-on-week schedule. Again, under the temporary orders in this case from January of 2024, Judge Lee ordered this almost the exact same week-on, week-off schedule with the father, Mr. Hector Ayala Gomez, as the primary conservator. The parties have operated under that schedule since January of 2024 with no modifications, no emergency motions, no request to change from either side. The custody evaluation was completed April of 2025. And again, since that time, neither one has asked to modify those orders. Your Honor, the custody evaluation has already been admitted into evidence, but in that evaluation, the basis for changing the possession and access and making mom the primary conservator is based on an unqualified statement that the father works a lot. But you will see that there is no breakdown of the father's hours, no mention of the father missing any important milestones or school activities or not being available for the child. In fact, you will see in that evaluation, it says the child is fully well adjusted to this schedule and he's bonded to both parents, and both parents are equally active in his academics, extracurriculars, and in his life. Also, you will hear testimony today that there has been changes since that schedule where during the evaluation, mom was not working at all, and she had just accepted a severance from her position, where now she is working and she is utilizing childcare for the child, where it puts her and father in a similar position, where the recommendation is now stale because it's based off of facts that are no longer relevant. Additionally, we submitted a summary, but just to revise it a bit, my client is really just asking for this court to maintain what the child has been used to. He's 10 years old, and 6 out of the 10 years of his life, he's had a week-on, week-off schedule with both parents, and he's expressed in that evaluation that he loves that schedule. So to change that would not be in the best interest of the child. Additionally, we are asking the court to maintain father as primary as far as the residents within Dallas County and contiguous counties, or if the court would like to restrict to just Dallas ISD, as father has acted in that role for almost 2 years and there has not been any issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Attorney Lane, you may call your first witness.
Call Michelle Reyes to the stand, please.
Okay.
May I share with you my screen?
Yes. You all can both share your screen. You don't have to ask
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning. Would you please state your name and address for the record?
Michelle Reyes, and my address is 425 Kent Drive, Mesquite, Texas, 75149.
And have you been a resident of the county for at least 90 days and a resident of the state of Texas for at least 180 days prior to filing the suit?
Yes,
And I know the suit's been pending for a while. It's been pending for about 2 years. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Because we had to mediate the case once before the child custody evaluation, and we mediated a second time after the child custody evaluation, correct?
Correct.
And scheduling that second mediation took months because the opposing party didn't want to set it for mediation. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you think that's by design and intentional to try to delay and put time between today's final trial and the child custody evaluation?
I do believe
Objection
so.
and speculation.
Sustain.
Did you or your attorney make multiple attempts to schedule the second mediation to know it, but were met with delays?
Yes.
I'm sharing with you, if you could identify the document that's on your screen as petitioner's summary of requested relief after the final trial. And is this a true, accurate, and correct copy of your summary of requested relief?
Yes,
And today you're asking the court to simply follow the child custody evaluation, which took 8 months to complete, and to find that you both should be appointed joint managing conservators, correct?
correct.
And that in addition to being joint managing conservators, that you should be the conservator who determines the primary residency of the child
Yes,
within Dallas or contiguous counties, right?
Yeah.
And that the respondent should have an expanded standard possession schedule.
correct.
Did you, and you're also asking the court to put that on child support today, as well as continue medical support.
Right.
Did you participate in the child custody evaluation?
I did.
And did you have an opportunity to express your concerns to the evaluator?
I did.
In particular, concerns related to the 50-50 possession schedule and co-parenting with the respondent?
Yes.
What's it like to try to co-parent with the respondent?
A lot of the times I am left with no response, or if there is a response, a lot of it is trying to gain control over my household, or just like trying to minimize me, or like the smallest thing down to like clothes or anything myself, which has nothing to do with this. But it's just very hard to communicate, and it's just been extremely complicated to co-parent.
Does Hector prefer to have his house, his rules, your house, your rules type of a mentality to co-parenting?
Yes, and he's very much of like, he thinks his way is the best way, instead of like trying to like meet in the middle. He's just like, well, this is what I think it's right, so I think this is how it should be. And if like I don't agree, it's always like a little tip that we will have.
And have you read the child custody evaluation since it was marked as an exhibit?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I haven't read it all because some of it was redacted, but I read some of the stuff that I was able to read.
And there's multiple reasons why the evaluator reached the decision that the evaluator reached, correct?
Right.
It's not as simple as Hector works too much.
Yeah.
But let's speak to that. What does Hector do for a living?
He owns restaurants, and I'm not sure how many he has now, but I know for sure he has at least 3 with my dad.
And so, and what's he do at those restaurants besides own them? Does he manage or troubleshoot or work at those restaurants?
The last thing I knew, he was managing them, and managing a restaurant is day to night. I'm not sure what his schedule is like now, though.
And at some point over the course of the last 2 years, have you ever had to take the child Alexander because Hector was unable to do so for work-related reasons?
Yes, several times. I've gotten several calls from the school of like, it's like 7 p.m. and no one's picked him up. Oh, like dad's not answering and he's sick. Just stuff like that. Like Christmas when they sing at the church, like I'm waiting for him. I'm just like, hey, where are you? And it's like no show, no text, no show. I'm just waiting there for like an hour. It's a lot.
And so one of the reasons that the evaluator states is he has a hectic work schedule, but that's not the only reason the evaluator gave, correct?
Yeah.
In fact, the evaluator points to his dishonesty and
Objection to
communicating with
leading.
Sustain, don't lead.
her. What do you do for a living, Ms. Reyes?
So I too have a percentage in restaurants, and then I am a fashion stylist for a company here in Dallas.
As you said, you have a percentage of ownership of restaurants. Does that require any day-to-day activity from you, or you're a passive investor?
Passive investor.
And is that through Hector and your father?
No, this is just with my dad.
I understand. And what are your hours that you generally work?
When I'm working here at my job here in Dallas, I'll drop off Alexander, work from 8, and then I'll get off at 4, and then I'm home by like a little bit before 5, no later than 5.
Does it ever require you to work on the weekends?
Never.
Does it ever require you to have an emergency that would call you in after 4 p.m.?
No,
Do you have childcare in place for Alexander?
I do, yes.
Does your work schedule prohibit you from being able to pick up Alexander or take him to school?
Not at all. There's times where I've been able to bring him to work with me if he got sick at school or if like there was no school and I had no other choice.
Do you know approximately, so you've been married to Hector twice. Do you have an idea of how much money Hector makes a year?
I really don't know, but I mean, just from
Objection to speculation. She just testified she doesn't know.
Sustain.
You don't know, you currently don't know. Is that right?
Correct.
When you were married to him before, what was he making?
Objection. Can we get a timeline as to when or what year he's referring to?
During your first marriage?
Prior to
Sustain.
2017. If that's the case, I'm going to object to relevance.
Sustain.
What was he making before your current marriage separated?
Excuse me. I really don't remember what he was making.
Okay. You're asking the court to set child support based on whatever the guidelines would be for his income. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to pass the witness. Can I get a time, Your Honor?
Yes. You have 20 minutes and 12 seconds. Attorney
Okay.
Taylor, you have 27 minutes and 24 seconds.
Thank
Cross.
you, Your Honor.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Judge. Okay, so Ms. Reyes, you mentioned that you are currently working, but you would agree that during the custody evaluation, you indicated to the evaluator that you were not planning to go back to work. Is that correct?
That is false. I never said that.
At the time of the custody evaluation, you received a severance from your then employer and you were taking time off of work. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then also you would agree that the basis of the custody evaluator's recommendation is that you had more availability at that time than Mr. Gomez. Is that correct?
I believe so.
And additionally, now that you are working, how many days a week do you have a nanny or your neighbor pick up Alexander from school?
My sitter picks him up Monday through Friday from 3:30 and I get home at 5.
And how far do you live from the school?
Taking in traffic, it is like a 40-minute drive.
So now you would agree that you and Mr. Gomez both utilize childcare on some days during your weeks. Is that correct?
Yes, but not the same amount.
Now, you also mentioned that you have gotten several calls from the school regarding Alexander being needed to be picked up. When is the last time you got a call from the school during Mr. Ayala Gomez's time?
I don't recall the exact date, but obviously when we're under this circumstance, no one's going to want to mess up. But it did happen a handful of times and everything is in the evaluation.
What year did it happen? Can you give us a year?
I believe it was like 2024.
Okay,
2024.
so you're not sure. Do you know how many times you got a call?
A handful, everything's in there.
And then as far as the Christmas that you were referring to, which Christmas? What year?
I believe that was Christmas of 2024.
And Alexander what school is he currently attending?
Holy Trinity Catholic School
And how long has he been in Holy Trinity?
since the 3rd grade. He's in 5th now.
And you would agree that overall, academically, he's done well at Holy Trinity. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then during both parenting time, he's been able to maintain his academics and his attendance at school. Is that correct?
I can't fully agree with that.
And additionally, you two have been under this schedule since January of 2024, and you nor your attorney on your behalf has requested to modify the schedule at any time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you also would agree that Alexander is well adjusted to the week on week off schedule. Is that correct?
I don't know how to answer this because like if you talk to him, he'll be like, yes, he's very political in that way. But last night he was
Objection
like,
and non-responsive. Now, you would agree that for at least almost 6 years of his life, he's operated under a week on week off schedule with both you and Dad. Is that correct?
What was the time frame you just said?
For almost 6 years. So from 2017, your first marriage, to when you remarried in 2022, you two operated under the week on week off schedule, correct?
Not exactly, not the full 6 years, no.
So, but for the majority of his life, you would agree that you two have operated under this schedule.
Yes.
And you would agree that stability is important for a child, correct?
Yes.
Now, so therefore, when you agree that it's important for Alexander to maintain his stability in both homes, correct?
I just think he has better stability in one home.
Now, also, you understand that Alexander has siblings in Dad's home, correct?
Yes.
That he is also bonded to. Is that correct?
I don't know their dynamics.
When you agree that changing his schedule could impact him emotionally and academically?
I don't think so.
And now, as far as your income, how much are you currently making with your employment and your ownership in the restaurants?
I'm really not sure.
Can you give us a guess?
Can we just say like 100 a year?
And additionally, since the temporary orders, you and Mr. Gomez have split Hector's tuition 50-50. Is that correct?
Yes, but there's been some things happening. Something happened.
And isn't it correct that you two you've paid 6 months and then he's paid the other 6 months, correct?
Yes.
And then there's been no request for additional child support since the temporary orders, correct?
Right, but there's been stealing on the other party's part.
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustain.
Now, as far as the evaluation, the evaluator also recommended that you maintain enrollment in individual therapy, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The evaluator recommended that you maintain enrollment in an individual therapy. Is that correct?
I don't recall that.
Are you currently enrolled in individual therapy?
No.
And you have been diagnosed bipolar. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you were prescribed medication for that. Is that also correct?
I was prescribed, yes.
And are you currently in compliance with your medication?
I worked with a doctor to get off of it, and I've been good for months.
But you're not currently seeing a doctor, is that correct?
Correct.
And if that was one of the recommendations from the evaluator, that's something that you understand that you're not currently following, correct?
I don't recall I don't recall that recommendation.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. 1 second. I sent a message to the waiting room. Remember, before we started, I asked, was anyone waiting on someone named Aiden? I asked them for their calls number and they gave this number.
I don't know Aiden, and that's not on either of our pretrial disclosures to call someone named Aiden. The child custody evaluator was Jessica Rogers, so I'm not.
Also
And-
not familiar with Aiden, Judge. Maybe if we can ask if they have another name or.
Yeah, okay. I guess I could do that. I just didn't want to leave out. You all do not have any witnesses that you're missing, right?
Other than Miss Rogers, who I thought had been subpoenaed, no. So
We don't.
And Ms. Reyes, Mr. Gomez, you all didn't give the Zoom code to someone named Aiden or
No.
someone who has a child by the name of Aiden?
No.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Any redirect, Attorney Lane?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly, please.
Go ahead.
Did you share your mental history with the child custody evaluator?
I did. I was very open and honest.
And was that reflected in the evaluator's report that you were open and honest about those things?
Yes, she was in contact with my doctor.
And was it also one of the things that she pointed out as a criticism of Hector because he focuses solely on that diagnosis?
objection leading.
Sustained only.
Did what, if anything, did the evaluator say of Hector's comments toward your mental health?
She mentioned that there was a lot of negative things said about me versus focusing on the main problem. It was more of a personal attack versus like the actual what matters.
Do you think going from a 50-50 schedule to an expanded standard schedule is a huge difference as far as Alexander's ability to adapt to the new recommendations of the evaluator?
No, I think he's going to adapt very well.
And you think Hector's a good father?
I do.
And you're not trying to prevent him from having access or visitation to the child, right?
That's correct.
But the two of you both participated in a child custody evaluation that took several months to complete, right?
Correct.
And it was very in depth.
Yes.
And you're asking the court to read the totality of it before she makes a decision based on today's it being presented in today's trial.
Yes, correct.
I've passed the witness.
Okay. All right.
Reyes, if you don't, oh, sorry, Judge.
Go ahead.
Ms. Reyes, if you don't believe changing from a week on week off schedule to an expanded standard schedule would make a big difference, then there's really no reason to make that change. Is that correct?
In a negative way.
Is the reason that you're wanting that change solely so you can get guideline child support from the father?
Absolutely not.
In your testimony, it wouldn't make a big difference. So keeping the schedule the same would also not make a big difference. Is that correct?
In a negative way, it wouldn't make a big difference. In a positive way, I believe so. Because if dad wants to be fun, dad, take the whole weekend, have fun. But let me give him that stability when he needs it for school.
You would agree that Alexander expressed to the custody evaluator that when you and dad initially separated before the temporary orders, when you only allowed him to see dad on weekends, he didn't like that schedule and he didn't like
Objection,
only being able to see
hearsay
dad
as
on
to
weekends.
what the child may or may not have said.
Judge, that custody evaluation was admitted into evidence.
Yeah, I was going to say the custody evaluation is evidence, so it's not hearsay.
If that's what's in the if that's what's in the report, it's 49 pages. In particular, where are you referring to?
Which page, Attorney Taylor?
If you can give me just a second, Judge. believe it's page 19, but I can get a second to find it. It's page 24. Child expressed he disliked weekends only time with father.
Okay, you may continue.
Again, Ms. Reyes, you would agree that Alexander expressed that he did not like only being able to see his father on weekends. Is that correct?
He's a child. He changes what he says.
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustain.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Attorney Lane, you may call your next witness.
Paul Hector, Reyes Gomez to Sam.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. How are you? Can you hear me
I'm
well?
doing well. If you would please state your full name and address for the record, please.
Yes. My full name is
Objection
Hector.
to stating his address, Judge, since we're live. I believe that we can give that off of this if it's necessary.
Sustain, the court will agree. He can state his name. He can state the city.
Okay. My name is Hector Ayala Gomez, and I live in Dallas, Texas.
About how far away do you live from the petitioner, Michelle Reyes?
About 40 minutes, maybe 35 minutes.
And what do you do for a living?
I operate and manage restaurants.
How many restaurants do you have?
5.
And where are they located? Generally,
mostly in
not only there.
North Texas.
Are they spread out? Are they all in Dallas? Or are they spread out through Central Texas?
North Texas, so several cities: Anna, Denison, Sherman, and Gainesville. There's several.
And approximately, what's your monthly gross income from those from your employment?
5,000 monthly.
So each restaurant pays you $1,000 a month.
After expenses and everything is what I take.
Okay. And did you participate in the child custody evaluation?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the findings of the child custody evaluator?
Yes.
In particular, that she considered a lot of your responses to be dishonest,
No.
that you're overly critical and negatively focused on Michelle rather than focused on Alexander.
No.
So if the judge were to take the time to read the evaluation and for herself to see whether or not that's accurate, you're telling the court that that's not in there.
I mean, I don't, I'm not critical of Michelle unless it's something to do with Alexander's, consistency or structure and things like that. But
Does your employment require you to work steady hours, or what are your hours?
very flexible now.
When you say now, when did it start becoming flexible for you?
It's always been flexible. I mean, I'm the owner. I make my own schedule. I work from home now, well, most of the time. I have a team, so.
Yep. And set your own salary too, of course, right?
No, I don't set it up. That's up to my accountants and stuff, so I don't know.
Okay. So you're the owner and you set your own hours. Do your hours ever require you to work on weekends?
Not weekends, no.
Is it your testimony under oath that in the last 2 years you've never had to go into work on a weekend?
I don't recall. Honestly, Saturdays and Sundays, I don't work.
Okay. Do you ever work late into the evening, say after 5 p.m.?
Sometimes, yes. Rush hours, that's obviously in the evening. So there are some times where I do go, in the evenings, yes.
How often would a restaurant require you to be present in the evenings?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's like very hard. It just depends on the volume and market things and that. So it's like, yeah,
But how late are the restaurants open?
until 9:30.
And do you ever meet with staff after 9:30 to go over the books for the day
No,
or the
no.
week or the month?
No, no, that's not my responsibility.
Do you think Miss Reyes is a good mother?
I do think she's a good mother. Yeah.
And do you, it's not your intention today to say that you're asking the court to keep it 50-50 because that's the way that it's been?
Can you repeat that again, please?
You're asking the court to keep it a 50-50 schedule because that's the way it's always been?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's 50-50 is what we've done. I don't want to take anything away from her. It's what Alexander's been used to. So, that's yeah.
And it's possible that you're both great parents, yet what's in the best interest of the child isn't necessarily a 50-50 arrangement, right?
I mean, if that's what you want to say, but no, not really.
It can be a true statement that you're both good parents, but that in the best interest of Alexander, one of you should be determined to be the primary conservator.
I don't really know what 100% primary means, right?
Okay.
But of course, there are certain decisions that I would like to have participation in. Those
Sure.
decisions have Michelle has done, and like, for example, I don't know who the psychiatrist is. She, up to this day, she hasn't told me. Maybe she told you. I don't know, but I don't know who the psychiatrist is. I don't know medication after the fact. So those are the things that just keep happening, and so she has history for that. And I think we both want participation in Alexander's well-being and
Sure.
Environment. So it's
And,
that's my
and,
only
that,
concern.
and would you agree that that participation is available to parents who aren't 50-50?
I'm just talking specifically to the fact that she has been very bad also in communication. I don't know, again, the name or where the psychiatrist is, just like she didn't tell me for 6 months where she lived and took my child away, right? So it's the same thing.
So for 6 months, it wasn't 50-50?
No, when she left the house, right? She left and went with another man, right? I didn't know where he was. I didn't know she lived in Mesquite at that time. It was right after we went in front of Judge Lee that she decided to tell us where she lived, because that was obviously something bad for her.
I see. What homework do you help Alexander with?
Math homework, spelling. Right now, with a lot of math homework, for sure.
And you have other children that you care for that are under the same roof, right?
Yeah.
What are their ages?
4 and 1-year-old baby.
So you don't have to help them with homework yet, right?
No, not yet. Not yet.
I see.
Yeah, not yet.
How's Alexander doing in school, grade wise?
Now he's doing better. There was a period where he declined. His grades slipped, and I had to step in to just study more with him and increase his grades, and that's what we've been doing.
And during that period of time when his grades slipped, didn't he also have a lot of absences that were during your times of possession?
No.
So if the evaluator made that comment, the evaluator got that wrong?
Well, his grades slipped just the last quarter, so the evaluation was already done before that. So
what else does Alexander, other than math, what else do you help Alexander with?
math, reading, spelling tests. He has it every Friday. And he's got social studies. So he's studying a little bit of science. We go over, right now, countries and states, capitals, things like that. So,
And speaking of countries, are you in the country on a work visa?
me?
Objection or relevance?
Well,
What's the relevance?
the relevance of it is I'm just wanting to make sure that that status is good. Otherwise, we would be putting the child at risk if Mr. Gomez were subject to deportation.
Overruled,
You can answer the question, sir.
sir. The question was, are you in the country on a work visa?
Not on a work visa, no.
Okay, what paperwork are you in the country on?
I'm under, it's DACA. That's what it is.
And is that up to date?
Yes.
And so your status currently is that you're in the country lawfully, not subject to any deportation.
Yeah, lawfully.
Do you agree that it would be harmful if Alexander were to leave the environment that he's known and go to a different country?
Objection or relevance?
Overruled.
About that,
Do you agree that it would be harmful if Alexander were to leave the environment he's known and go to a different country?
Of course, yes.
and if for some reason your paperwork made it to where you had to leave the country, then would you want to take Alexander with you?
No, honestly not. I want to give him
So
stability.
in that emergency scenario, you would want Alexander to stay with whom?
Possibly, Michelle's parents, my parents' guidance.
Okay, so but not Michelle.
Not unsupervised, of course not.
Is she supervised now?
I guess under psychiatrist, I guess, but I don't,
Her visitation with her children are not supervised by a psychiatrist, and they never have been. Isn't that right?
probably not. I don't know.
Okay. So if something were to happen that you had to leave the country, your testimony under oath today is that you would not leave the child with Michelle Reyes.
Yeah, I think he should stay with her.
Okay.
It's his mother.
And you don't have any safety concerns with the child being with Michelle, right? You haven't sought to any protective orders or anything against Michelle, right?
No. Not with her, but the partner, yes. I don't know anything about him either, right? So
Let's talk about your partner. Who are you partnered with?
a woman,
Okay, what's her name?
Louisa.
And is this the person you have the 4-year-old and the 1-year-old with? I didn't hear it.
Answer. Mr. Gomez, you have to answer out because of the court reporter in the record.
Oh, I did. I said yes.
There was a breakup in the connection, it sounded like.
Yeah. And the mother of the 4-year-old and the 1-year-old, what's her nationality?
Russian.
And she wasn't born in America either, correct?
Objection or relevance, Your Honor. This has not been an issue. I don't think there's any relevance of her nationality or where she was born.
Lives with the child. I think it's relevant.
Sustained.
Opposing counsel opened the door when she brought up the other children.
She brought up the other children because they are relevant to dad and because the child in this case are siblings, but the nationality of the person that he has the children by is not relevant.
Fair. Is she in the country legally?
Yes.
Objection or relevance?
Sustained.
Is your testimony, sir, that you make $5,000 a month?
Yeah, about.
How much is the private school tuition a month?
It's about $800.
And do you own a home or do you rent an apartment?
No, I'm currently renting.
And how much is your rent?
Well, it's from a friend, so it's like $2,000.
And do you have a vehicle that you have a car payment on?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
how
from
much is the car payment?
well, the restaurant pays for that. I don't, it's a van, it's a catering van. So
About what are your monthly grocery costs, do you think?
overall,
Mhm.
I don't know. Again, I don't really go over that 100%, you know.
Okay, so roughly just off of the tuition and your rent without paying any bills, you've spent 3,000 of the 5,000 that you make a month. And it's your testimony that you can cover all of the bills and own 5 restaurants, and that's all the money that you make.
I mean, that is income. So,
Did you bring a copy of your 2024 tax returns for the court today?
yeah. Yeah. I turned all that in.
But those weren't admitted into evidence. Your lawyer didn't present those as documents to be presented today. Let me ask a different question. If the court should ask you to pay child support, how much child support do you think you should pay?
No clue.
Do you think that it's the job of the mother and father to both support the child?
If it's, 50-50 and we both contribute, yes.
And not just financially, but emotionally and physically support the child, right?
Emotionally, academically, and socially.
And so if the judge follows the evaluator's recommendation and makes Michelle the primary and gives you expanded standard and orders you to pay child support, how much support do you think you should pay in that case?
I never gone through this, so I don't know the calculations.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no clue. I think
Okay.
but obviously I have all the kids, so I have all the stuff. So it's, I don't know. I have no clue.
Okay. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, counsel, you have 2 minutes and 47 seconds left. Attorney Taylor, you have 19 minutes and 35 seconds left.
Thank you, Judge.
You can cross or you can wait until your case in chief and take your client under direct.
I'll pause here, Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Ayala, just to be clear, you're asking to be appointed for you two to be appointed as joint managing conservators with you as the primary conservator to determine the child's residence. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you currently reside.
Hold on 1 second, sir. You have to answer out. The answer is yes or no.
Sorry. Yes.
Okay, and one more thing. I want the record to reflect that the custody evaluator, Jessica Rogers, is present. Aiden is her son's name. So
Okay.
where that Aiden was coming from. Let me go ahead and swear you in. Well, state your name for the record, please.
Jessica Rogers.
All right. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give will be the truth and the whole truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. Attorney Taylor, you may proceed.
Sir, sorry, where was I? You're asking to be appointed as the primary conservator with the exclusive right to determine the child's residence. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is one of those reasons being that you currently live 5 minutes from the school that he's been going to?
Yes, I do.
And do you believe that in your home you can offer him a more stable environment as far as being a primary conservator?
Objection leading.
Sustain, don't lead.
Okay, just I was crossing, so
Well,
okay.
oh, well, yeah, you can lead on cross. Okay, go ahead.
So can you explain to this court why do you feel like you can provide stability for Alexander?
Well, stability for him because at least I will have more communication on the psychiatrists, doctors, saying, I'm more available. That is true. I have more flexibility on my schedule. I've proven to his grades whenever his grades were down, especially during this time that he was being picked up by the Michelle's neighbor, and those assignments were not being turned in during her weeks. I stepped in when he was about to repeat second grade, and the one who spearheaded the whole, process of getting him ready for third grade so he wouldn't repeat second grade, it was all me. And Michelle has, agreed to that before. But that's all. It's just on his academic performance, consistency, and obviously in his doctors and psychiatrists consistency on that as well. I will not will make her part of that. I will never make a decision just by myself.
Isn't it correct that you were fully aware of his psychologists and doctors until Michelle made recent changes without informing you?
You cut off for a little bit, but can
Yeah,
you
I
say
can
that
repeat
again?
if needed. Isn't it correct that you were fully aware of who his doctors were, who his psychologists were before Michelle made recent changes without informing you?
Yes, yes, yes.
And is that the basis for you to ask for those decisions as far as psychiatric and psychological and medical decisions to be by joint agreement so that you both can be fully aware and agreement of these decisions?
100% yes.
Now, additionally, as far as your work schedule, has your work interfered with your ability to provide care and attention to Alexander?
No, it has not interfered.
Now, you mentioned that you work from home now a lot of the times. How are you able to do that and how often?
For my computer, I mean, a lot of it is just delegating and going over spreadsheets and numbers and things like that, sales, things like that. So I could do a lot of that from home and from my
And just to
computer.
be clear, you stated that you operate and own 5 restaurants, but you don't own those restaurants by yourself, do you?
No, 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 of course not.
So your income is based off of your percentage of ownership and also expenses from those restaurants. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's investors and things. Yeah.
And we've submitted your 2023 taxes where that year after expenses, you earned $23,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, I submitted everything. Yes.
And your accountant is still working on the 2024 taxes. Is that correct?
There was an extension, yes, and I think they're done with that. But yeah.
And now, additionally, do you have Alexander involved in any extracurricular activities?
Always, we stay very active. He's in tennis. He's been in tennis for a year and a month, and now he wants to do some golf. So I want to put him in golf as well.
And who enrolled him in those activities?
I did.
And who takes him to those activities?
I do.
And as far as you're aware, is he enrolled in any extracurricular on Ms. Reyes' time?
Not that I know of.
And just in addition to that, you mentioned the other children in your home. What is the bond with Alexander and his siblings?
Well, very big bond, obviously. Lucas, the 4-year-old, he's always asking for him whenever he's not with us during that week that he spends with Michelle. Like even on Sunday, we went to a friend's birthday, and he's always wondering, where Alexander is. He's at school, he doesn't understand yet.
If the judge changes the 50-50 week on, week off schedule, do you think that would negatively impact Alexander emotionally and then also his bond with his siblings?
Yes, Alexander, same thing, especially right now with his little sister. I mean, I've never seen that side of Alexander ever. He's always, he's hugging her and very gentle and all of that. So yes, of course it would affect them. Affect him.
Now there's been some mention of your legal status. How long have you been in this country?
20 years.
Now, is there any reason for you to believe or any reason that your status is in jeopardy?
No, no.
And now, in addition to that, if your status wasn't in jeopardy, would you be transparent with Ms. Reyes if that situation were to ever change?
Of course.
Now, as far as the custody evaluation, you're aware that that was completed in April of 2025. Has there been changes since that was completed?
Changes? Not really. It's been pretty much the same, I guess.
Has there been any changes, as far as you're aware, from in Ms. Reyes's home?
Of what? I'm sorry.
Objection asked and answered.
The question was different. I was just asking specifically, has there been changes in Ms. Reyes's home that he's aware of since the evaluation was completed?
Yes. Yes. So I know that she lost her job and
Hold on,
One
sir.
second.
To the next question. Go ahead, counsel.
Yes, specifically in Ms. Reyes's home, are you aware of any changes that have occurred since the evaluation was completed?
well, I know that her partner left or is not there. I also
Objection non-responsive. The question was whether
Your Honor, I asked if there were any changes in Ms. Reyes' home, and he specifically that her partner is no longer living there. That's one change, and he was going into different changes.
No. You asked him, are you aware of any changes that occurred?
In
Sir.
her home.
So it should be yes or no, and then you can ask the follow-up question.
Got it. Of course, Jim. So you're aware that her partner moved out of the home, is that correct?
yes,
And you are also aware that she is now working and she wasn't working during the evaluation, is that correct?
correct.
And you're aware that the basis of the evaluator's decision was that Michelle had more availability because she was not working, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And do you think the judge should take those changes into consideration now that both parents are working and maintain the 50-50 schedule? Is that correct?
Correct.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anything further, Attorney Lane?
no, Your Honor. I'd like to call Mrs. Rogers.
Okay, go ahead. You have 2 minutes and 47 seconds left.
First of all, Bim, we sincerely apologize that we kept you waiting. We didn't know that it was you showing up. And the child custody evaluation was already admitted into evidence by Judge Lee. But we're happy to have you, and because there's been some issues over the interpretation of that evaluation, would you please, in your own words, tell the court what factors, if any, led to your decision that Michelle Reyes should be the primary?
Well, of course, we have two great parents, but ultimately in my study, Mom, Michelle, was the primary parent. I mean, she was chalked all through being the historian and medical records for the child's medical wellness, whereas Dad only appeared in 2 medical appointments. She was the historian for most psychological and psychiatric information for this child. And again, Dad was present, but only for like 1 to 2 sessions in the records that were presented. When I talked with the 4th grade teacher, only the 4th grade teacher was seeing Mom at the school.
Objection. She's testifying to things that were not in the evaluation. It's not anything in the evaluation regarding a talk with the 4th grade teacher.
She's not limited to what's in the evaluation. She's given her opinion. That's why she's here.
Hold on 1 second. I remember reading something about the 4th grade teacher. I want to say it.
Okay.
I believe
If that's the case, Judge, I'll recall my objection.
okay. It's in the 40s in the custody evaluation.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. It is under the school information in which the teacher specifically responded and stated that she had not seen Dad. She didn't talk to Mom or Dad throughout the child's 4th grade year. The child was, doing well. They did talk with the reading specialist, but she didn't see either of the parents. The only parent she actually saw at school was Mom at Mass with the child on Friday. And so overall, consistently, it is Mom that's the lead in medical. It's the mom that's more present. In all of these records I reviewed, and despite there being a worry and concern about Mom being unstable, her job would even show that during this really hard time in which she went through a divorce and the mood was and her stability was, mental emotional health was not quite astute where we would want it to be. She got the help she needed. She increasingly got better, and got stabilized. And so those are all the reasons she's been the primary parent all
So
along.
your basis is not that Hector has to work more often than Michelle, therefore Michelle should be the primary. It's based on the totality of the information that is included in your report.
Correct.
And that's not to say that Mr. Gomez is a bad person or a bad parent. It's just historically the child, Michelle has performed those duties.
Correct.
And that's the basis for why you think that it should change to, one, that should be named as such, and two, that Hector go to an expanded standard schedule.
Yes.
Pass the witness. I think am I out of time, Your Honor?
Not quite. I paused it while I was speaking to Ms. Rogers, so you reserve some time.
Okay. But
So you may proceed.
Yes. Ms. Rogers, thank you for being here today, first of all.
Welcome.
So you would also agree that during your evaluation that you noted that Alexander expressed that he liked the 50-50 week on, week off schedule, correct?
Did.
And you would also agree that he also expressed that he did not like the time when he was only able to see father during the weekend. Is that also correct?
He did.
And I know you mentioned the totality of your evaluation, but specifically in your executive summary and in your recommendations, it's correct that you highlighted your reasoning being that father's work schedule was a big factor in your determination of mom being primary and father having an expanded possession schedule. Is that correct?
I did. Quality over quantity.
And would you agree also that at the time of your evaluation that mom was taking a severance from her employer and she had expressed to you that she would be taking some time off of work?
Just for that summer is what I understood.
And in addition to that, you also would agree that you expressed that both parents have been actively involved with Alexander's academics and medical throughout your report. Is that correct?
In an imbalanced fashion, but yes.
And now, in your experience, wouldn't you see more of a break in the bond between the father and son if dad was not spending time with Alexander?
Well, I feel like this child, even though he's saying some of the things that you just asked me about, that he does want to spend weeks with dad and weekends with dad. The child also consistently told me dad worked a lot and wasn't present. So I'm not sure there's going to be a big difference. I think that dad was absent in some of the time he was having him anyway.
Did you explore with dad or through visiting the home times that dad had made be absent from himself or his fiance or just by visiting the home?
The child reported to me this more than once, a couple of times. And then in the texting,
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustain.
Specifically, I'm asking, did you express this concern with dad and ask for more information regarding his schedule than what was provided to you?
yes, I did.
And is there a reason that additional information is not noted in the evaluation?
I believe it is noted in the evaluation.
And additionally, you would agree, and you said throughout your evaluation that Alexander is well adjusted and he was doing well in school. Is that correct?
The teachers did have some concerns if you look at that fourth grade. But he is well adjusted. He's a happy child. He loves both of his parents.
So did you take into consideration how potentially if mom was giving the exclusive right to determine his residence, that his schooling might be changed?
I don't know what's changed since April of 2025 when I last submitted this case.
Let me rephrase that there was a potential for mom to change his schooling based off of her residence if she was granted that right.
I don't know that I knew that.
Did you take into consideration how changing schools may impact Alexander's academics, especially given his ADHD diagnosis?
Yes, well, I do know he's in a private school, and so I know that there was some argument about who was going to pay for that. That was embedded in some of the text
Objection
that I
or
read.
non-responsive?
Sustain, after yes.
And additionally, as far as Alexander, did you take into consideration that dad has him enrolled in extracurriculars and is enriching him in that way, and mom has not done that?
I did.
And now, additionally, as far as dad not being involved in all medical appointments, did you take into consideration that mom may have given him the information which allowed him to participate?
That did not seem to be the case in what I reviewed.
Now, as far as do you think there would be any negative impact on Alexander if the week on, week off possession schedule continues?
Well, stability is what we're looking for here. And so, if dad is truly home at the times he's saying he's home, that would work well. I think, though, things get turbulent every once in a while, as I have seen in the history of the texting in which he's asking for assistance from the mom. So stability is what I'm looking for, and quality over quantity for this child.
And at what times or dates do you remember where he asked for assistance, and how often did that occur?
Well, so if you will review the texting and what Hector submitted in the pages where he offered extra information and mom offered extra information, that type of information is there.
So do you remember the dates or what year he was asking for assistance?
Definitely in 2023, 2024, if I'm recalling correctly.
Because additionally, in your report, you also praised that Alexander has a great relationship with Louisa, Hector's partner. Is that correct?
Yes, he does.
And that he rated his relationship a 9 out of 10 with her, and there was also stability for both Miss Reyes when she needed help, and also for Mr. Gomez. Is that correct?
At times.
And wouldn't you agree that on Miss if on Miss Reyes' time, Hector Alexander is left with childcare most days, that it's better for him to be in a home with his siblings and be able to spend that time with them rather than with a nanny? Is that correct?
Well, I'm definitely family over and stability. So those two things matter: family and stability.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Attorney Lane, anything further from this witness?
Yes. Were there any, what examples, if any, can you give us of when Hector was dishonest with you, or you questioned his sincerity?
Well, when I was reading through the text messages in which he was stating that he didn't know where his child was for 6 months, it seemed that there was definitely texting going on during that period, in which there was some busyness of work and some conversations going back and forth. And if you would like me to find and reference that exactly in the text, I read those, of course, word for word in what was submitted to me. But I didn't find that there was a 6-month period he didn't know where his son was, because he was always in the school he was. And that was confirmed in the text thread as well.
So the child, there's two other children in Hector's home. One's 4 years old and one's 1 year old. In your observations, do they have their hands full with the 1 and a 4-year-old?
They do, but they also had a nanny on staff, which was there when I did the evaluation, who was doing much of that care.
So whether it be with Michelle or be with the 4 and a 1-year-old, both houses are going to have some assistance with a nanny or a housekeeper or a babysitter.
Likely.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, you have 36 seconds left. Attorney Taylor, you have 4 minutes and 46 seconds. Is there anything further for Ms. Rogers?
Yes, just a few more questions, Judge. Ms. Rogers, isn't it also correct that you recommended that based on mom's previous mental health history that she sees an individual therapist and maintains consistency with that?
I did think that would be a good idea. Yes.
And isn't it also true that you saw some changes in mom's mental health throughout history once relationships ended or there was big changes in her life?
I think from 2019 going forward to 2021, she grew increasingly
Objection,
well.
non-responsive.
Let me see the question. Is it true?
I was asking as far as the correlation. Did she see changes in mom's mental health when there was
Sustained. The question was, is it true that you saw some changes in mom's mental health history once relationships ended, or there was big changes in her life?
Sometimes.
now, would you also continue that recommendation that mom sees an individual therapist?
I guess it would depend on her current state. I do know that it is highly risky to diagnose anyone with bipolar in the midst of a divorce where there are lots of emotions going on, heightened emotions, misinterpretation of symptoms.
Objection,
So
non-responsive.
if she, and
And now would you also continue the recommendation that mom sees an individual therapist? Non-responsive after, I guess it would depend on her current state.
And then just one more, as far as you mentioned the text messages where Mr. Gomez claimed he didn't know where the child was for 6 months. Are you aware that he didn't have mom's address and know where the child lived at that time?
I did.
And are you aware that Ms. Reyes was admonished in court by Judge Lee for not providing that address to Mr. Gomez and was ordered by Judge Lee to do so in court?
I was.
I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Is Ms. Rogers free to leave?
Yes, and we're sorry we didn't get to you first, Ms. Rogers.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know my son had put his name on my computer. So that's my bad as well.
No worries. Thank you.
No problem.
All right.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're free to leave. Okay. Attorney Lane, you may call your next witness.
We have no other witnesses, Your Honor. I just reserve my 36 seconds for a brief close.
Okay, so you rest.
Yes.
Attorney Taylor, you may call your first witness.
Yes, I'll call my client, Mr. Hector Ayala Gomez, briefly. Sir, after hearing some testimony from the custody evaluator, can you respond as far as your involvement with Alexander's day-to-day life?
Yeah, I mean, I take him to school early. I pick him up from. He has some extra classes on Mondays and certain days to study math. I pick him up. We get home. The first thing that we do is homework. He changes into his clothes and all of that stuff, and then he plays for a little bit. We eat together. That's one of our rules.
Object,
as a family.
non-responsive.
Well, even you, but
Just wait until she makes her decision.
It's probably going into a little narrative. Yeah.
I can move on. Yes. So despite some of the things that were said, would you testify this court that you are available to, primarily care for Alexander when he's in your care on the week on, week off schedule?
Objection leading.
I'll
Sustained.
rephrase. Are you available to provide care primarily for Alexander when he is during your weeks?
yes.
And has anyone, requested to modify this schedule and claim that you have not provided that care?
I don't understand the question. Can you repeat that again?
I'll rephrase. I'll move on from that question. As far as your involvement in his medical, again, has it been your choice to not be involved as much as Ms. Reyes?
Objection leading.
No. I want to be involved. Yeah, I just don't know.
Objection leading.
The psychiatrist is.
Sustained, don't leave.
I'll pass the witness.
All right. Any other questions, Attorney Lane?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Attorney Taylor, you have 50 seconds left. You may call your next witness.
I don't have any additional witness. I'll save my time for just a brief closing.
Okay, Attorney Lane, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm glad that we did get an opportunity to hear from the child custody evaluator because it gives you a better depth of why she chose and reached the decisions that she did. And it's because the truth of the matter, despite some good lawyering by Ms. Taylor, the truth of the matter is Michelle has historically been the primary care provider for Alexander, and it's in the best interest of the child to continue to allow her to do so and to name her as such. The There are many reasons why she gave that Hector should go to expanded standard schedule, but you heard it with her own words. It's quality over quantity, and it's about stability for Alexander. This is not a trial about who's good or bad.
You just ran out of time.
Thank you.
Okay, Attorney Taylor?
Yes, Judge. Just to reiterate to this court, one thing we all know, we're here for the best interest of the child. And the best interest of the child is to maintain what has worked for him and what has worked well. And that would be Mr. Gomez as the primary conservator and the parents having a week on, week off 50-50 schedule. The child has expressed that this schedule is something that he prefers. His academics have shown and improved that it's something that works for him. He is bonded to his siblings in dad's home, and this gives him a time to spend equal time with mom and dad, who are both now working and who both assist in youth childcare. Although Ms. Rogers' report was thorough, a lot of her report does contradict itself. She says the child is well bonded to dad. He has a great relationship. They spend time together, but then says that dad works too much, is not there, but she doesn't know when he's not there. And she has not expressed attempts to show when he's not there or really interview him, the child, or even the fiance to see when exactly dad is working. In addition to that, I'm on
You
time.
just, the court has a couple of questions. No one conducted discovery either side?
No,
Your
Judge.
Honor. There was a prenuptial on the parenting or on the property, and we didn't. Neither side said discovery.
Okay. Well, it beyond the property, there was a request for child support. So I would think that discovery would have been appropriate so that I could see what finances were between both parties. And I looked through the exhibits. I didn't see a financial income statement for either party either. Is that correct?
That is
No.
correct, Judge. And just to be clear,
Fine.
we're not requesting child support. We're just requesting the parties maintain paying half the tuition as they have been doing as child support.
Right. And I mean, I understand. However, she's requesting child support for him. So that would have been helpful if the court had some sort of discovery for financial information on dad if there's a discrepancy in what he's paying himself.
We have provided his 2023 taxes to show at least then what his income was. And we can supplement with the 2024 when available with the court.
Yeah,
which isn't enough to cover his own expenses, if you believe that.
that wasn't going to help dad at all, that tax return. Because he testified that he pays $2,000 in rent. And that tax return wouldn't even cover his rent. So that wouldn't have been helpful. No one, because this custody evaluation is in a couple of months, it will be almost a year old. So the court wants to know, why didn't anyone request an update to the custody evaluation?
Once the
Judge,
evaluation was entered with the court, we tried to set it for a final trial, but Judge Lee set us for mediation again to ask us to mediate after the evaluation report. Opposing counsel and opposing party delayed that for as long as possible because they don't like what the evaluation says. And then ultimately we were able to get it set for mediation, and then we were able to get it set for final trial with the similar delay tactics. There's multiple communications trying to get it set more timely.
Here's the deal. The court
Judge, I can answer your actual question on ours.
No. All I need to know is why. It doesn't matter about any delay or scheduling or anything like that. That's not my issue. Even if you all were ordered back to mediation, this could have been, the custody evaluation could have been and should have been updated because the activities or schedules between the parents have changed. So that would have been able to assist me the way that things are today, hearing from her. Because the court's not going to say that her testimony was contradictory. I mean, a lot of what she said was in here. It's just that based on the questions that she was being asked today, you could tell that some of this information was newer to her. And I think if she'd have been updated with that information prior to today, her report would have been more accurate to where the parties are today.
Judge, may I respond as far as my client's reasoning and our side? And
No,
just specifically to your question?
I just need to know, why didn't
Yes, that's what I want to answer, just that question.
I didn't want you to give your side according to what
No, I'm not even going to entertain it. Just your question. It was due to finances. I believe when I researched it, she charged an additional $2,000. And my client, I believe, as he testified at some point, the restaurant industry has been up and down, and just that he couldn't afford it at the time.
Okay.
It was just due to finances on our end. He just wasn't able to, at that time.
Okay, thank you. How much is tuition for the year?
About,
Go ahead. Right. Go ahead, Michelle. Ms. Reyes.
I believe it's about 10,500 or 11,000 around there.
Does that include any expenses or is that strictly tuition?
Listen.
All right, what about uniforms?
That's also a part, and I'm not sure. I think every shirt's like $30 to $40. And then pants, I get them off Amazon. I don't know where he gets his.
Okay, so you all share in that in terms of uniforms and expenses?
We have our own, and when it comes to like lunch, the school will for the first half of the year, it's me. The second half, it's him.
Oh, I got it.
Also, Alexander's on my healthcare plan as well. Something.
Yes, and I never heard any testimony about the cost of the healthcare insurance.
Yes, that cost is $150, should.
Man,
And your client, Attorney Taylor, is agreeing to continue that?
Yes, of course.
All right. Dad has 2 other children. Mom, do you have any other children outside of Alexander?
No.
Okay. All right. So what the court is going to do, hold on, I have a couple more questions that were missed. Mom, you're currently married to Mr. Hector Gomez, is that correct?
Yes.
Were there any other children married or adopted during your marriage?
No.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, born or adopted. Are you expecting any children at this time?
No.
Has your relationship become insupportable due to conflicts and discord that destroys the legitimate ends of the marriage relationship?
Yes.
Is there any chance of reconciliation?
No.
Are you asking the court to grant your divorce today?
Yes, please.
Thank you. The court grants the divorce today on the grounds of insupportability, and the court is going to take this under advisement. You'll get a ruling out, if not today, tomorrow.
Thank you for your time, Judge.
Thank you all. You are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.